Hello, my name's Sam Hamilton. Um, we all know that physical education is important in not just for young people, but throughout an individual's lifetime after they're done with school. Some of the benefits of physical education: it increases muscular strength, stimulates bone growth, improves cardiovascular fitness and flexibility. It can give someone higher levels of functional movement skills, fundamental movement patterns, and sports skills, which can increase quality of life over one's lifespan. Quality PE programs in school provide opportunities to learn not just the above in school, but again, they apply across a person's lifespan. And embedded in a quality physical education program. So, cognitive and knowledge based learning, a demonstration and the utilization of psychological and sociological concepts, as well as principles and strategies um, as they are applied to physical education. And of course, nutrition, a huge part of a good physical education program and a healthy lifestyle. Um, these things help not just general education students, but also students with disabilities. Um, all children are required to have an appropriate PE program. And there are some national standards for PE, six of them, while individual states, some have their own standards. These are accepted as like national standards across the country. I'm going to go through them very quickly. Number one, to demonstrate competency in motor skills and movement patterns needed to perform a variety of physical activities. Number two, a student will be able to demonstrate an understanding of movement concepts, principles, strategies, and tactics as they apply to the learning and performance of physical activities. Three, participates regularly in physical activity. Four, achieves and maintains a health enhancing level of physical fitness. Five, a student shall exhibit responsible personal and social behavior that respects self and others in physical activity standards. And number six, to value physical activity for health, enjoyment, challenge, self-expression, and or social interaction. And being that these are national standards for all students, um, this includes students with disabilities, and that's what adapted physical education is for. It sort of came out of the Education of All Handicapped Children Act of 1975 and the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, commonly known as IDEA. And these both made PE an area that was federally mandated to be provided to students with disabilities. And underneath California state law, it is also mandated. In part, the law says APE is for individuals with exceptional needs who require developmental or corrective instruction and who are precluded from participation in the activities of the general physical education program, modified general PE program, or an especially designed PE program in a special class. So, in order to qualify for those APE services, there's a process. The student does not need to seek them out themselves. Educators are mandated under a thing called Child Find to locate, refer, and evaluate children who would benefit from special education services. They can also be referred from GE teachers, family members, friends, community members, really anyone. But educators themselves are mandated to find those students that would benefit from these services. So, adaptations, accommodations, and modifications need to be made in a general PE class and documented before a referral is followed up upon. That's kind of like the base level step. After that, an assessment plan is developed for the purpose of collecting data. And if referred after the assessment, that assessment should follow procedures and timelines as defined underneath special education. So there's specific timelines after the initial referral is made that the assessments and the results need to be delivered to what's known as an IEP team, and we'll talk more about that in a second. The student needs to be assessed in all areas related to the disability. More than one evaluation procedure needs to be used in order to establish eligibility. The assessment data needs to be used to develop a motor profile, and a student may be considered for APE when an IEP team determines eligibility. And that IEP team is made up of the student's family, a general educator, a school psychologist for the initial evaluation in particular, an administrator, a special education teacher, and an APE teacher or instructor as well in this case. So if that team determines eligibility requirements are met based on assessment of numerous varieties, the assessment results are then used to determine if APE is an appropriate service to be provided for educational benefit. And the services will be determined after considering a full spectrum of program options. The idea is to have the student in the least restrictive environment, or LRE, which is an inclusive environment. And the ideal is to promote maximum interaction with non-disabled peers. So the present levels of motor performance need to be included in the IEP. Goals and objectives are created, and they need to be based on the assessment results and identified needs of that individual child. The goals and objectives must address unique needs related to the disability. And annual goals that are made will be measurable, and the progress needs to be reported during school reporting periods. And the services continue until the IEP team determines that they are no longer necessary. So not all IEPs have APE goals included in them, but APE goals are a legal right of students with IEPs. So the roles and responsibilities of APE educators, they must have a credential, the proper credential, to enable them to teach APE. They need to assess and identify needs of the students they work with, and this can involve collaborating and or consulting with other service providers and providing direct APE services. Instructional aides can provide assistance under the supervision of credentialed APE teachers. Adapted physical education teachers can participate in response to intervention or RTI models through collaborative consultation with GE or general education teachers. APE instructors may need to provide service under a 504 plan, and they also have a responsibility to remain current, not just in their own field, but also in the field of general physical education and special education. And throughout this whole process that can be confusing and scary, there are rights that the students and parents have. And there's a lot of them. And at every IEP meeting, every assessment, all of that, the procedural safeguards are introduced, gone over, and any questions are answered. In essence, what they say is that parents and the students are an integral part of the IEP team, and no decisions pertaining to the child's education or program will be made without their input. And if at any point they're unhappy with the outcome of what's been done with the IEP, they have means to legal recourse though the hope is the team would come back together and decide. Thanks.